Hey everybody, Jamie Sanderson, Georgetown Foodland. I am back here in the kitchen of Wicked Tuna with my friend Chef Chris. And he has allowed me to come back here to talk about MarshWalk Restaurant Week and the dishes that he's going to be serving up. And guess what, folks? They ain't the traditional dishes that you're used to on the menu. This is something really, really good for you guys out there. Chef Chris, thank you for having me out here, brother.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, show's all yours, man. Let's talk about what we got going on.
All right, well, what we're kind of doing is we want to put, I got to play on what's called a, people know osso bucco, it's traditional French, basically bone-in meat that's cooked with vegetables and red wine. It's kind of reduced. So what we have on that is sort of a play on that is what we have is we have our short rib, osso bucco. Beautiful cut. We just have them wrapped around the bone. We truss them, we French them. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to give this and the vegetables a nice hard sear. What I like to do is giving it that nice hard sear with the salad, it just kind of lock some of that flavor in too while you're slow cooking it over hours and hours. So what we'll do first, we got all our mise en place set up. We got nice pans, nice and hot.
Yep, it's important to have that pan hot.
Yes,
right,
always hot. Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
And always too, season. I swear I don't want anything in my pan if it don't got salt and pepper on it.
Yes, sir.
And then basically what we're going to do is now we get, see you can tell we're getting nice and hot. We got the hot pan we want. So what we're going to do, see now you get that good sear. That's how you know you have it done right.
Yep, that's right.
And then what we're going to do at the same time, what I have in here is we have just some onions, some carrots, and we have a couple fresh herbs that we're going to do with it as well. So I'll go ahead and toss all that in here. And we're going to let all this cook together. What our deal is we want to get a nice little caramelization on all sides, between the herbs, between the meat itself. We're going to get some of that brown on there. And we're going to slow cook this for a minute, let it sit there. And basically what we want to do is once this is all cooked and married, I'll remove the shag from there. And then we'll put the tomato paste in there. And then what we want to do with the tomato paste, the reason for that, I like to brown it a little bit. It gives a little bit of richness to the actual dish itself before we put the red wine and the stock in there, and then we seal it up for the actual cooking itself.
Awesome, that sounds great. You can already smell the flavors. They're smelling great.
I know, and I'm one of those guys. It's not. I mean, people don't necessarily want to put they'll put the herbs in there at the end with the base or whatever. But me, I like to kind of open it up and get that smell going too. Kind of cook them off a little bit, a little sear on the edge first, so it just kind of keeps like a cooked flavor that way.
Yep, you're right.
Now we're getting a nice sear on all sides, as you can see.
Yeah, it's looking nice.
And with something like this too, when you have a short rib, basically with anything in a meat like this, slow and low is your best friend. You don't want to rush a short rib. That's going to be tough and chewy. Something like this, your short rib, you want to cook 2.5, 3.5, maybe even 4 hours. And if you have the time, 275, 300, nice low temp. That way it cooks evenly the whole way through. And then we'll sear that bottom real good so we got that nice brown on the outside. And then we're starting to get a little bit of caramelization on our vegetables, is what we want. And this is something I've done. It's a very comforting dish. You know what I mean? Something, especially with this time of year, when I used to get in these 30s and 20 degree weather, this is something that's very comforting, very warm, very nice on this kind of time.
Exactly, you're exactly right. There's nothing right. Here's the thing about having comfort food like this right here. Whenever you're sitting at home or coming to a restaurant with a family and you're enjoying something like this right here, you can tell that the chef put really good emphasis on the fact that he wants good southern cooking, good home style cooking, and something that you can enjoy with a family.
See, now you can see we got a nice little caramelization. We got our good nice sear on the outside of the meat itself. And now our key is we're going to transfer this. I'm just going to go right in here. And now that we have this, we want to keep this in here for a minute. Keep this going, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this tomato paste to it. Probably about half. Now what we want to do with that is just kind of let it sit in the pan. We want everything to get roasting, caramelized, stir all that around. If you get a little charred tomato sauce, that's actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Don't think you burn it.
Hey, I'm glad you pointed it out, Chris, because some people would think that if they saw some of that on the dish, that it was charred or burned. Right?
Exactly.
So
and with the tomato paste, what that does is it brings out the richness and the full flavor of the actual tomatoes that are condensed themselves. So it's, my opinion, it's something that's worthwhile. You know what I mean? And when it comes to anything like stocks or anything you make, you may think you get a little bit of burn on the bottom too, but that's something we wanted to glaze, and we want to kind of scrape all that up because that actually adds to the flavor that you're getting on this. So now we got a nice little caramelization. We got this going on right here. We got the red on there, and then what we're going to do, after this.
There you go. Good action.
There we go. Now we're kind of mixed together, so we'll let that go for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, nice color on that too.
And then what we have here right beside it, this is going to be our vegetables that we're using actually for the short rib. And what I got is some baby fingerlings, fingerling carrots.
All right.
And this is actual veg stock. You know, it's kind of like anything I like to make mine from scratch, but of course, Swanson, any kind of regular beef stock, any kind of veg stock is going to help you out just as well. It's not a big deal. Okay, now we got this. What we want to do is we got our red wine.
All right.
Which we want to basically essentially deglaze with. And don't be afraid to scrape all that stuff off there.
That's right.
All that stuff. You want all that flavor, everything in there. It's going to go with short rib. And it's essential with any kind of a play on osso bucco or any kind of sauce like that. You want to get that nice dark red color to it. There we go. Now we're getting what we want. See, you got like a nice, dark, beautiful, almost a maroon type color on that.
Yeah, really rustic. Really
Yeah,
rustic
absolutely.
Right
And then what we'll do is add a little bit of our stock to this. There we go. Now with something like this, just kind of stir it, make sure it's all there. You see, you get that nice little bit of the char from the tomato paste, a little bit of the veggies on there too. Some of the stuff you got from the pan. That's all flavor, baby. We don't get rid of that stuff.
That's right. Use it if you have it.
That's right. And now
Let it go to waste.
now that we got it all nice and heated up, we got our short rib right here.
All right.
What we're going to do is just kind of add all this stuff to the pan itself. As you can see, you got nice, beautiful texture, good color in there.
Oh, yeah.
We'll add just a little bit more stock because you want to cover it and keep it submerged. You can do a short rib by itself, wrapped in foil for a couple hours, and it still works that way. But for me, I like cooking it in the liquids. Short rib's already going to be nice and lean meat if you cook it slow enough. But I like to try to incorporate as much flavor into it as I can while we're doing the actual cooking.
Right, and it's very important to get all that to absorb as well too, because the more you get to absorb, the more flavor you get.
Absolutely. And then we'll just wrap this guy up, and then we'll go around the corner here. And then basically, essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook this in here at about 275, and we'll do it for about 3.5 hours. It's one of those things with short rib, timing is everything. You know, if you pull it out too soon, you're going to realize that it's going to be it's still going to be tough. And if it's tough, then you know you need to cook it longer. You're never going to overcook a short rib. That's kind of one of the nice benefits about it, especially cooking in liquid. It'll just fall right off the bone.
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll come back over this way. Now, as far as for the setup and what we have left for you guys, what we got, I have a bit of mashed potatoes that we made, traditional mashed potatoes. You know, if you want, you can make mashed potatoes a million different ways. We just did ours with a little bit of cream, a little butter, garlic, salt. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to stick a little bit of truffle oil in it as well. If anyone knows, truffle oil's got a very strong scent, and a little goes a long way.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's more of just a touch and a dollop of it.
Yep, you don't want to over truffle.
No, you definitely don't want it. Once you over truffle, you can't go back. That's exactly what it is. So we'll basically do a little bit of truffle in there and just kind of slow mix it in so we get some of that flavor off of there. And now what I have for you guys, as you can see, basically after 3 hours that you have that short rib, when you pull the short rib out of the actual sauce itself, I tell everyone save all of that sauce that you have in that pan. Because what you can do is you turn it into a form of a demi by basically straining the herbs out, the carrots, the onions, leaving the liquid itself. And then what I did is I reduced it on low heat again for I did it for 2 to 3 days, because you know the longer you do it, the more you reduce it, the more potent, the more solid it becomes. Yep. You know, some people may be pressed for time, but this is what we've done for about 3 or 4 days. And as you can see, the sauce from where we poured it in as opposed to where it is now, you can see it's got a nice, rich texture to it, real beautiful dark color.
Yep, sure does.
And you can smell all that. So
yes,
now,
you can, even through a mask.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now, what we got over here is I got a couple of the done ones for you guys to see.
All right. The beauty of television.
Yes. How'd you do it so quick?
I know, right?
And now
they're magicians. Oh, look at that. Already falling off the bone.
This way. What we have here, like you can tell, it's like this meat is just completely falling apart. You don't even really have to touch it to get it to fall off, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to work on our plating aspect of this now.
Yes.
Since we have everything ready. For me.
Look at that. That is, you could eat that just like that, right there. That's so beautiful.
We're gonna kind of go in the middle. Set it off that way.
Yep.
And with the short rib, you want to be careful because we did truss it, so you kind of have to get around those little strings on there. Sharp knives are your friend.
Yes.
There's one. There's two we put around there. See, there it is. All right. And now I'll kind of set that right up in there. Very traditional, very low-key, very warmy.
Yeah. Looking really nice there, Chef Chris.
Sometimes it's not always about the presentation, it's just about the comfort of it.
Exactly.
And then we'll set off these as our side. And then we'll finish it off with some of that demi that we've talked so much about.
Oh yes, yes. You can't leave that off the plate.
This is one of those hearty, very, very warming dishes.
Beautiful.
Nice, dark, robust color, good flavor.
Yep, sure is.
And then we'll just finish it off with a little bit of grease at the end.
All right.
Just because people like color.
Yep.
Doesn't get much more comforting than that right there.
No, it doesn't. Hey, I'm gonna hold this dish real quick. I want to let everybody know this is our Wicked Tuna here from MarshWalk Restaurant. We short rib right there, the mashed potatoes. Check out the veggies right there with the short carrots. Everything looks so good. Chef Chris, thank you for your time back here in the kitchen. I really appreciate it. You know Wicked Tuna is known for the great sushi and their seafood, right? But guess what? They're going to be known for the great rustic food, too, after this. Jamie Sanderson, Georgetown Foodland. Eat it up, Georgetown. We'll see you out there. Be a culinary encourager and support your culinary industry. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Awesome.